Have you ever wondered how a daily journal can go from this to this? I'm Titleless Musings, and in this series, we will be exploring journaling, how to begin, my advice for you as somebody who has journaled for 4 years, and all the different things that come with the art of journaling. We'll discuss how to practice journaling, how to set up a journal, different pages you can add, and my best tips that I wish I had known when I started journaling. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Titleless Musings, and this is episode 6 of the Musings on Journaling series. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about something that I personally have not seen anybody else talk about, and that is end-of-year journaling. Now, this can be a bit of a niche topic. It could be something that may or may not apply to you. So let's get straight into the video and delve into what is end-of-year journaling and how could you use it in your own journaling practice. So, an end-of-year journal, as I define it, is a daily journal that you keep during the last 2 to 3 months of the year that contains your daily entries alongside specially made journal pages that document events and activities that you partake in as the year comes to an end. An end-of-year journal is a special place to put spreads that relate to holidays you celebrate or New Year's resolutions that you want to make, plans for the new year, etc. It's just a more focused place to mix daily entries with the end of the year and the reflections and planning that goes with bringing the year to a close. You may be saying, with an explanation that simple, how does an end-of-year journal even differ from a normal daily journal? In most ways, an end-of-year journal is not going to be much different from your regular daily journal. In fact, as you can see on screen right now, I'm actually creating my end-of-year journal for 2024, and it really doesn't look that different from any of the other daily journals that we've looked at in this series so far. The only real difference with an end-of-year journal compared to a daily journal is that you're purposefully creating a place to design pages that represent what the end of year means to you. You can absolutely do this in your regular daily journal and label that as an end-of-year journal. An end-of-year journal, to me, is just a journal that documents those last 2 to 3 months of the year. The only reason that I call mine a specific end-of-year journal and why it differs from a daily journal to me is because I like to make sure that I end my journal on December 31st and start a new one for the new year. So for me, this is also a practice that signifies not only the year coming to a close, but my journals for the year coming to a close, because this is the final journal that I'll use in a year. So then it raises the question, is an end-of-year journal a holiday journal? And the answer is absolutely not. For me, I will often use the term interchangeably when I'm referencing my journals at the end of the year, because the biggest thing for me at the end of the year is the holiday season. But no, an end-of-year journal is not a holiday journal. It can contain holidays, or it may not. It can also contain birthday spreads, wrap-up spreads about books and movies you consumed in a year, favorite new things you tried, your year-end pictures, your annual mood tracker, that kind of thing. So now that we know what an end-of-year journal is, let's talk about the how, the whens, and the whys. Why should you keep an end-of-year journal? As I said in my recommendation, you should keep an end-of-year journal to document important memories. At the end of the year, all of us are so busy with the hustle and bustle of trying to not only close out a year, but prepare for the upcoming year, that we often forget to stop and enjoy the moments that are going by. While my journal does focus on the holiday season, yours does not have to. It can simply be a collection of photos and stickers and other items to remind you of how you've wrapped up your year. So, as someone who has done end-of-year journals for a while, I recommend setting up your end-of-year journal a month before you want to use it. For me in 2023, I spent October collecting ideas and pages that I wanted to do and then used the journal in November. However, in 2024, my end of year journal will span October through December. So I know that by September, the journal needs to be set up and ready for me to use. You can see me setting it up here on screen. If you don't have the time to do that, you can always just start using the journal and then worry about setting it up later. I just like to set mine up in advance so that I can collect stickers or decorative paper that goes along with either the theme of the journal, the holidays, etc. All of this new information may sound a little bit daunting and maybe scaring you off of end of year journaling, so allow me to backtrack for a second and explain what I mean when I say how to plan or set up an end of year journal. When I refer to setting up an end of year journal, I don't mean you need to plan every single page, nor do I mean that you need to plan every single daily entry from November 1st through December 31st, for example. For me, my setup involves a regular journal setup. It involves decorating the cover, inside cover, writing a note on the first page as a way of tackling the first page anxiety, and starting my monthly pages for whatever the first month will be. However, I do take digital notes by way of planning. My planning consists of any ideas for spreads that I want to make that are so important to me that I just don't want to forget them. For the last few years on an annual basis, I've made spreads that document my favorite books, movies, and TV shows of the year, as well as spreads that show my Spotify Wrapped or Apple Music Replay. Your planning could go very similarly to this or completely differently, and that's totally personal and up to you. Setting up doesn't mean every spread has to be ready. It just gives you the chance to think about what you want your end of year journal to look like and to be for you. Some spreads that I have in mind for my end of year journal don't change from year to year, and they include any spreads about annual holiday traditions like cooking turkey for Thanksgiving. They also include spreads about events I've planned, family and friend events, and bigger entries for annual holidays like New Year's Eve. This planning is all done digitally. Nothing ever goes into the journal until I'm ready to design it, but I have the ideas ready in advance, so I'm not struggling to decide what I want to do. If you celebrate a holiday during the end of the year, you may want to make a spread about the traditions that you partake in during it. Perhaps you really like baking and want to document some of your favorite recipes. I also enjoy doing a year in photos, where I pick a photo from each month that I always want to remember. Another specific but meaningful spread that I do every year is I pick about 10 different countries, and on New Year's Eve I'll grab pictures of the fireworks from those places that I'll find in news articles or through Google. This is a really fun way to track how different countries bring in the new year. I don't pick the same places every year, but it's also just a cool reminder of the way the rest of the world is also ringing in the new year. Just keep in mind that the end of your journal is a place for you to put those spreads in that you just don't want to forget about during what is otherwise a very busy time of year. These spreads don't have to be big and elaborate or take lots of time or be incredibly artsy. They just have to be enough of a memory keeper for you to look back on with fondness. If your end of year journal is still doubling as a daily journal, then your daily entries will be like mine, and they'll stay largely the same. As I stated earlier, my end of year journal is still a daily journal. It's just got to focus on the end of the year and the activities that I get up to. What I'll do is a page or two a day of writing for my daily entries, and these are still formatted the same in that they have the header on the top of the page with the date and maybe some washi tape on the bottom. The only times this differs for me is Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve. During Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'll write about 4 to 6 pages on those days because those are such huge holidays for me. On New Year's, I'll typically write 10 pages, which I'll break into about a paragraph each hour on the last day of the year. It's a space for me to reflect on the year that's gone by and speak on what I'm looking forward to in the upcoming year. Outside of these examples, the topics in my daily entries do stay the same. They're still about me, my life, my emotions, and my thoughts. I began keeping a special end-of-year journal in 2023 because I wanted to have a journal that would end with the year. It made sense to me to have a journal for the new year, but it also seemed like a good idea to have a specific place to celebrate the end of the year. I wanted a journal that could still contain daily entries, but could also be a more focused place to celebrate another year, which is why I began an end-of-year journal. Though I've I've always journaled through the end of the year, having a specific end of year journal has made me more reflective at the end of the year and has changed the way I begin a new year. In the end of year journal, I'll make spreads that are not just dedicated to holidays and traditions, but are also about the things that I've been doing all year, such as all the books I've read or all the movies I watched. I'll also write letters to the year gone by and the year upcoming as a way of closing one chapter and opening another. Lastly, I also use my end of year journal to plan my New Year's guidelines, not resolutions. Whatever I feel I want to improve on from the year gone by is what I'll work on in the upcoming year. I leave space in my end of year journal to decide how I want to work on these things. This is a very focused way of journaling and ending my year on positivity and starting a new year with hope, as opposed to just daily journaling through the year like I have for years prior. End of year journaling sounds so plain. It's just a journal to document the last 2 to 3 months of the year. But for me, it's become really important. The end of the year for me has always been a busy time where I get up to a lot, but never truly appreciate the beautiful moments that I get to spend with those around me. Over the last few years, it's made me kind of sad because I'm not really capturing important memories and I'll often forget they even happened. Having a place to make special pages to celebrate these moments has really helped me in so many ways. It's taught me to stop and appreciate things more, to appreciate those around me and the things that I'm doing. It's helped me recall the years as they go by instead of just letting them pass. And it's also made me excited for the last 2 to 3 months of the year and allows me to celebrate that time. For the last topic in this video, I thought I would close on why I do or don't recommend it. I recommend an end of year journal to everyone because it can create a special space of memories to look back on when you go from year to year. An end of year journal doesn't have to just contain the things that we've talked about in this video, such as holidays or the holiday seasons, but it can contain those traditions from any holidays you celebrate. Generally, an end of year journal is just a place to keep any memories you have from the end of the year. Document time you spend with your children or other members of family, or celebrate winter break by making pages about the friends you get to hang out with. An end of year journal is just a fun way to wrap up the end of the year and to capture moments that you may brush over otherwise. Though it may sound like a silly idea when you're starting, looking back on the end of year journal for me is so rewarding. We are at the end of yet another video in this series, one that I am really glad that I got to share with you all. My end of year journal is something that's become so important to me, and I hope you might have found some inspiration in this video to try it for yourself as well. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. Please do consider liking and subscribing to stay tuned with the series, and feel free to drop your questions or comments below. I'll be adding questions to upcoming videos to help you get better acquainted with daily journaling. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.